I remember the day my family laughed at me. It wasn't the kind of laugh that comes from a joke. No, it was the kind of laugh that cut deep, a mix of disbelief, mockery, and pity. They couldn't understand why I was so determined to build a business from the ground up. "You'll never make it," they said. "You're wasting your time." The sting of those words still haunts me. But now, as I sit in the silence of my office, holding the document that marks my first $1 million sale, I can't help but smile. They didn't believe in me back then. But look at where I am now. The question that haunts me is, did they really mean to hurt me? Or were they just scared of seeing me succeed? I've come a long way from the days when I was the laughingstock of my family. The path wasn't easy. In fact, it was full of doubt, setbacks, and sleepless nights. But those challenges shaped me into the person I am today. Growing up, I was always the quiet one in the family, the dreamer. My parents, George and Olivia, were traditional, hardworking, no-nonsense people who believed in security and stability. "Get a good job, settle down, and everything will fall into place," my dad used to say. And for the longest time, I followed that advice. I went to school, got my degree, and worked a job I didn't love, just like everyone else. But deep down, I had this burning desire to do something different. I wanted to create, to build something of my own. So, I started a business, a small e-commerce venture. At first, I kept it under wraps, not wanting to hear the inevitable criticism. But when my family found out, the laughter began. They didn't understand why I wanted to take such a risky step. "You'll fail," my brother Alex told me. "You're better off just sticking to what you know." My sister Emma, ever the pragmatist, tried to explain that it wasn't worth it. "Why take the risk when you've already got everything you need?" That's when I realized they didn't believe in me. They didn't see what I saw, the potential to change my life. Instead, they saw a fool chasing an impossible dream. And so, the rejection began. I was no longer the quiet one. I was the one they pitied, the one they mocked. And it hurt. I couldn't shake the feeling that they didn't just doubt my business, they doubted me. But I wasn't ready to give up. I knew that if I was ever going to prove them wrong, I had to succeed on my own. The first few months were the hardest. I didn't have the resources my family had, and I certainly didn't have their confidence. I started from scratch, building a website, sourcing products, trying to figure out how to market myself in an oversaturated world. There were days when I wanted to quit, when the weight of their laughter echoed in my mind. But something inside me wouldn't let me stop. I became obsessed. I studied my competitors, read every article on marketing and sales, and stayed up late working on my business plan. I built partnerships with suppliers, worked on my branding, and spent hours tweaking every detail of my website. Through all of this, I found a support system in unexpected places. My mentor, a former colleague from a past job, took me under his wing. "You're on the right track," he told me when I felt ready to give up. "But you need to keep pushing. Your family? They'll come around when they see you've made it." I also found strength in the small victories. The first sale, the first positive customer review, the first partnership that took my business to the next level. Each step, no matter how small, was a reminder that I was capable of more than my family had ever given me credit for. But even as I moved forward, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was on the verge of something bigger. I had been building this empire for so long, but I knew there was one moment that could prove everything. The moment when I would make my first million. It happened sooner than I expected. The phone call came in the middle of the night. A client, a major deal that I had worked for months to secure, had finally agreed to terms. The $1 million sale was mine. But as I sat there, staring at the number on the screen, something shifted inside me. It wasn't just about the money. It wasn't even about the business. It was about proving to my family that I wasn't just a dreamer. I was a doer. I was someone who had the guts to risk everything for a chance at success. The next day, I walked into my parents' house. I had already made plans for a family gathering, a casual dinner, or so they thought. I had invited my business mentor, too. He would be my silent witness as I faced my family. When I arrived, I could feel the tension in the air. They were expecting the usual, me, the disappointment, the failure. But I wasn't that person anymore. I sat down at the dinner table, my heart racing. "I need to talk to you all," I said, my voice steady but firm. I just made my first $1 million sale. The room went silent. My brother Alex's eyes widened. My sister Emma dropped her fork. My parents? They just stared at me in disbelief. "I know you didn't believe in me," I continued, my voice trembling with emotion. "But I did it. I made it happen. I'm not the person you thought I was. And I'm not here to prove anything to you. I'm here to show you who I am now." It wasn't the big emotional scene I had imagined. But it didn't need to be. The shock in their eyes, the disbelief, they told me everything I needed to know. The weeks that followed were full of mixed emotions. At first, I wasn't sure how to feel. There was pride in their eyes, but also something else. A silent acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, they had underestimated me all along. My brother Alex, who had once mocked my dream, now watched me in a way I had never seen before. My sister Emma, ever so composed, couldn't hide the traces of regret on her face when we spoke. But as the days went by, I realized that this was more than just about a business success. This was about proving to myself that I had what it took to rise above the doubts, the setbacks, and the emotional weight of family expectations. I had forged my own path, one that wasn't defined by anyone's perception of me, but by my actions and my growth. Even though there was a certain pride in their eyes, there was an unspoken tension that lingered. They couldn't quite reconcile the person I was with the person they had always known. But that's okay. I didn't need their approval anymore. I had already proven what I needed to prove, not to them, but to myself. Looking back, I see how the rejection, the betrayal, and even the laughter from my family were the catalysts for something bigger than I could have imagined. They pushed me to become someone I never thought I could be. The moments of doubt, the sleepless nights, the tears, I realize now that they were all necessary for me to find the strength I had within me all along. It wasn't just the $1 million sale that changed my life. It was the realization that I could stand tall in the face of rejection and come out on top. The family that once laughed at me was now forced to confront their own doubts about my potential. And in doing so, they taught me one of the most valuable lessons I could ever learn. Never let anyone's doubts shape your destiny. I've made it, not because of them, but in spite of them. And that's a victory I'll always carry with me. So, to anyone out there who feels like they're not enough, who's been doubted, laughed at, or rejected, I say this: your journey is yours to define. Don't let anyone's limited view of you keep you from stepping into the life you're meant to live. The road might be tough, but every step forward is a reminder that you're capable of so much more than you think.
And as for me,
I've just begun. The real journey is only starting now.